And we're all for the money, 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 money.
Texan consort and gentlemen, podcast of the early life of yours truly in a narrative commentary.
Welcome to J.R. Hendrick, Texan Gentlemen. This show's almost like therapy for me. But we're all for the money, money, money. Like I see a sense of urgency now for me to get my businesses going. Just for those of you in HCM, Fort Worth, Texas, March 10th and 11th, the Elevate Convention, be there. Unfortunately, I'm going to be able to watch whatever I can virtually. Also have something spiritually that's more important that Saturday. Those who are Latter-day Saints, I'm going to the Lubbock, Texas Temple. All right, let's delve into this stuff. This is some pretty heavy stuff. No doubt, huh? No doubt? Alright, let's see. February 25, 1995. So, Jim wakes up after going to bed early. He's in his bedroom watching the Society page with Norma Sanders. Top issue is the Bob Cooney trial. Where it's obvious that prosecutors are saying that Veronica Horowitz lied about having an affair with Bob Cooney. On top of that, one of the Florida senators was interviewed by Norma Sanders, stating why he had to pull out all the stops to block faith-based initiatives on the Senate floor. So angry, Jim just turns off the TV and slams down the remote. Well, I'm angry now. So 3:15 a.m. In the mansion movie theater. Jim is watching the movie, this is a fictional one, Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's a 1967 movie. Ironically, John Dustin had attracted him to that during the wildcatting days. However, he knew that his wife, Betsy, detested, okay? Superheroes are for crap. It's okay for kids, but not adults. Well, I'm kind of divided about that, so we're going to stay away from that subject, okay? We're going to stay away from that subject because it's distractive to fine culture. Okay, now, 3:40 a.m. Central. JR and Ken wake up in the condo. Their plan was to go for a 5:30 a.m. swim at the Sibley and a 6:30 a.m. egg hash brown burrito. They're going to have breakfast and sit and talk to Stoney Rosen at the Spirit Club. Chill with them, and then JR wanted to go to the library to stay for a few hours, and then lunch with Kimberly Kreider, Karen Kreider at our apartment. It's almost like JR's got this double action going on. He wants Jennifer Bowers real bad, but in the back of his mind, he's aware that Jennifer might just turn him down. JR, don't shoot yourself in the foot already. And no spoiler alerts on this, okay? No spoiler alerts, so you know. I'm going to give me a bottle of water when we talk about this. So it's 5 a.m. Eastern. In the front lounge, Elizabeth Marie is looking at a catalog that Betsy got mail ordered for her from Connecticut. We're having bride's dresses, and one of them is made in Baton Rouge. And obviously, I think it looks a lot like Betsy's wedding dress from '69. And so, she finds herself a Victorian wedding dress made in Baton Rouge. And Betsy says she picked it out. She paid for it herself. And then she takes out a picture of her and Jim's wedding. And she remembers fondly her wedding in 1969. You know, Jim was so good looking. That's kind of the phrase that women threw at men that they loved and you know, admired their looks. I heard Mama saying that to Daddy when I was a kid, and I thought it was cool. I mean, why not, huh? So, Amy Kathleen says, Greg wants to marry me in Albuquerque, where his aunt is. Cool, Amy Kathleen. Of course, JR was on the conference call with his mother at that time. And so, he chimes in. Some of Daddy's rules don't mean nothing to me. Success needs to be possible for women and men. JR's kind of showing his rebellious streak against his father. And I guess in some ways based on some previous episodes, who can blame him? And so Elizabeth Marie is like, I'm going to my room to study. Now, in her room, oh my God, it's elegant. It's got some a stuffed animal. You know, she holds that thing at night. What's she gonna do with that when she marries Frank? She's gonna be holding Frank. Okay, 5:30 a.m. Central. JR and Ken decided to go for a swim at the Sibley. Even though JR was put back on probation from the team, they said he could still use the place. He's feeling pretty bad because of the Turkish Shandu. Now, Charlie, however, was removed from the swimming team entirely, and you can't blame him for that. Now, 9 a.m. Central. And JR is at the Smith Hall Library. That's a 48,000 square foot library. He's having to study a Carol when he picks up the phone and he calls Christine. Are you still doing well with canceling that loan? Carol said. And Christine said, no. Daddy raised hell and called one of his subordinates. I'm sorry, the loan is back on again. But without his donating $10,000. And Jerry's like, don't you worry, Christine, we'll get him another time. Another way. Alright, and Christine said, working on it now. Dork, I got to go. So, at first Christine and JR were like real tight and everything's cool and I don't know. now that she's calling him dork, it makes you think the competition is winning. Okay, so now it's 1 p.m. Eastern, and Jim exits the Eisenhower Executive Office building. It's kind of like a cover office thing. He's just been dressed down by his superiors in the small business. And he's like, you're not really good enough for them bastards. And so he walks to, get this, a blue stretch limo. He walks in. He orders the driver to take him to the Circle Cross Ranch, where Claude was to meet him, but he wanted to be back at the ranch in time for dinner, but he still had work to do. Okay, so it's 1:05 p.m. Central, and JR is having tuna salad sandwiches with Karen Kreider for lunch. Can you believe this? JR, why are you flirting with Karen? You know she has a boyfriend, but Dave and Ken McDonald went to the student union to grab lunch with Ken. Okay. So, JR admits that he's scared that Jennifer might say no. Karen said, Karen, maybe I shouldn't have bought that ring. And she said, look, I don't want you to feel guilty if she says no. It's not your fault. It's your narcissistic father, your narcissistic brother, and narcissistic Charlie. And Cher's like, look, I appreciate you being there for me, Karen. This competition between me and Daddy and Christine is getting insane. Flirting, JR? And Karen's like, well, you know how to stop it. And JR's like, look, Daddy's the person that got to stop it. And Karen hugs JR. I was like, ugh. Look, hope for the best, but understand that it might not happen. I can understand what you're going through. You see, my boyfriend, Martin, has been flaky for several months now. And if Jennifer says, no, you get to DC, I'll just look you up. I'm like, woo. So it's 3 p.m. Okay, and Claude in the DC area, and Claude pulls out in his red rental truck. He's like, Jim, what's this? And he said, Madison is renting this ranch for a little bit. The thing is, he wants to talk to us. And see, what the thing is, he goes in. Madison, once again, the episode last year, he'd asked his wife, Patricia, to give him something to drink. So they get something to drink, and the thing is, Madison knows about the bottomless lake thing. And little does Jim know, or the rest of the family know, that the bottomless lake thing will end up uniting the family again. Because I think Betsy is tired of her husband focusing on power games all the time. And so, that's the beauty of that. Quite an exchange. Now, it's 5 p.m. Central. At the condo, after returning from lunch, JR played Monopoly with Ken and Ken McDonald. But then he receives a man to throw pre-dinner pre-dinner call from his mother. Hey, JR, Frank is here with, in the mansion. Elizabeth Marie hasn't showed up yet. And JR's like, my mom, sister, Marie, where are they? And Frank's like, and JR's like, why don't you just be relaxing? Make yourself at home with the rich, Gerald said. See, JR is naive. Okay, he's blind to this. So Elizabeth Marie walks in, she's like, with Frank's mother, Deborah. You guys, I'm sorry I'm late. This is Frank's mother, Deborah. And on the way to the condo, JR, is his cousin, Allison. And so there's a knock at the door. And JR answers it. Hello, JR. Well, Allison, come on in. You're looking beautiful as ever. Let me take your coat. And get you a soda. So, Frank speaks over. This ain't plain. I like this. Listen to me, I love you. You put my mother in fancy clothes, and I know you just did the same thing for Allison up in Lubbock. Okay, so Allison spoke up and said, "Shut up, Frank. You know some of the Hendrick money. My parents don't have that much." So Elizabeth Marie speaks up. Look, my parents don't have that much money. It's Uncle Jim and his family that have that money, And that's true. And so, and Elizabeth Marie's like, well, what does it matter? And Frank's all happy. Oh, it does. It's cool. And she says, well, Aunt Betsy, I'm going to take Deborah out to dinner. Frank has to return to study at the library. And so, JR, you and Allison hang out at the condo. And so, Cousin Bobby speaks up. You don't hear from him very much. No, Betsy speaks up and says, meet with the wedding planner as much as you can. Elizabeth Marie. But I got to get ready to fly to El Paso. Okay, so it's 9:45 p.m. Eastern. Claude and Jim are having a fight outside of the plane. So, venture capitalists, huh? Give and give back, Claude said. Don't patronize him, Jim protested. And Claude said, he makes deals so distantly. Why do you keep trusting him? Claude, do you want that bottomless lake resort or what? Jim, he's like angry. And Claude's like, only after some honest work, Jim. His tactics make me angry. Now, Dan is on the plane. We have to take off. We're going to have dinner before takeoff, and well, I want you to damn climb on board now and get some drinks, okay? 10:50 tonight. I'm flying you to Abilene. Let me get you hecked out of here. So it's 10:50, and the plane takes off. And what song does Claude have them play? but the Ray Stevens song, Guitars In. Now, ain't that crazy? You got to admit it is. Okay? So, let me make sure I got everything. Oh. I hate things that hide. So, it's now the 26th, 1 a.m. Central. The plane arrives in Abilene, but they can't find transport. They look around for about 10 minutes, and Jen finds Claude's twin cab pickup. And so they drive back to this ranch that belongs to his future in-laws. That's about to be Claude's. For like a vacation home. So it's 2 a.m. Eastern. In Washington, D.C., Thomas wakes up. He's popping the pills like crazy. Today, he's going to be involved in the rescuing a woman stranded at sea. 5:05 a.m. Eastern. At breakfast, Christine and Forever are talking about Elizabeth Marie's engagement to Frank. Forever said at least she's willing to wait a year to give the engagement a year. So 5:55 a.m. JR wakes up and dresses quickly. Breakfast at the Holy Spirit Club was going to be at 7. Blueberry muffins. Clem said that he would join them there for breakfast. The Sunday worship service at the club would not be until noon. And Ken had to be out of the condo at noon, leaving the keys to Mike Fields. So, 7 p.m. Breakfast is blueberry muffins and Holy Spirit Club. And JR and Ken sat down with Brent Clark. And he said, and Brent says, I heard Charlie spaced out Friday night at the frat house, and he won't be awake until sometime this afternoon. And Jared's like, I don't want to talk about Charlie. And so, one thing I felt up with here is Brent says, okay, riddle me this. Jesse went to school with your cousin Forever. Now, they're several grades apart. But it's, she says Jesse's cousin knows Forever. And they've been in touch, and Forever, she is going to be going, Monday to protest at a Chesapeake, Virginia clinic, after school with some of the kids. So it's 9:05 a.m. Eastern. Amy Kathleen is in Washington, D.C., and she's in, First Presbyterian Church with Greg. It's a blissful time for her, away from all the crap. So 11 a.m., Jared has Manwich with Brent at the Holy Spirit Club. 9:10 a.m. Central. Jim is at Country Baptist Church in Abilene, listening to the songs, singing, the hymns, and getting ready for he didn't realize this, but his mistress, Marlena Diedrich, is going to be giving a motivational sermon. It's like, Jim, you're a hypocrite. Okay, 7:30 a.m. Mountain. Breakfast in El Paso with boiled eggs, bacon, blueberry muffins, orange and grapefruit juice. While Tom and his family are getting ready for church, Betsy and her mother, they're gonna be napping, watching TV, whatever. So 1 p.m. Central. After lunch in the hotel room in Abilene, Kim and Marlena talk about the prospective marriage. Jim blames himself for, letting things get out of hand with his family, and he's ready to make some kind of move. I think he wants to try to get back with Betsy, work things out. 2 p.m. JR is back in his dorm room, and he gets a call from his mother. And she says, I have a little bad news. Rod says he's not going to be able to fly you to take you to New Orleans on Tuesday. And Jared's like, oh, man. How am I going to get there? This is important, Jared said. And Betsy's like, hey, be cool, be calm. Gunther was a young kid who was Uncle Tom's pilot when he was at Texas Tech. And he owes us a favor. So he's going to take you to New Orleans as long as you don't go alone. And Jared's like, hey, I'm taking Brad. And, he's going to, after we're going to have dinner when he gets out of church. Okay, so it's 5 p.m. Eastern. Amy Kathleen goes out to dinner with Elizabeth Marie, Deborah, and Frank, the Porters, And Frank grew up poor. And even though he's a struggling law student, he's almost suddenly enamored with Elizabeth Marie. Because, she was spoiling him. He's kind of not like to that. But not to mention, JR and Jim did a conference call after JR got out of church, and they said that Jim said when he married Marie at Swingfield, Jim would get her a condo on Oakwood. This. And JR said, hey, I'll put you on a whole gated community called Swingfield Ranch condos at the whole Porter family. Here at the Farmstead Estates. And Frank got very excited. He's like, hey, yeah. All that Hendrick money, and if there's a law job for 2, JR, you and I can work together. Okay, so now, looking back, this kind of spoiler, JR sees that Frank is a user and a loser. So 7 p.m. Central, Brad takes JR to Dragon Barbecue, where they have a nice dinner. And Brad's like, I still don't understand why you couldn't have gone to church with me. And so I was like, please, Brad, give me time. Okay, Brad. This is the one thing I don't like about Brad. He represents a friend I used to know that has recently passed away. And in fact, in my other podcasts, I give him the same pseudonym. Because of the personality. Now, Brad says, look, I'm sorry about what I said to you last month. It really affected you. And when your family's friend Mike Fields told me that you were in the hospital, well, I knew I had to find some way to make it up with you, to make it right. And Jared says, well, it ain't easy. I didn't need to take it all out on you. I was just mad because, Jim's Christmas drunk. And, and nobody seems to do anything about it. And so Brad's like, Charlie Nation was no one to help you solve your problems. He's moving out into the fraternity without warning you, and then you getting doped up thanks to him. No, he was no solution. And Gerald's like, couldn't see that half the time. I was angry as hell with my family. I really want Jennifer Bowers so bad. And Brad's like, our plane leaves at noon. Right. My last class ends at 10:50. How about I pick you up outside Gordon Hall? We around 11. And Gerald says, sounds straight to me. And he says, look, you're not going to do this alone in case something goes wrong. I'll be there with you. Maybe I can't be in that lounge with you, but I'll be there for you when you go in, and I'll be there for you when you come back out. Okay, so it's 7:30 p.m. Central at the hotel suite, and Jim says his goodbyes, and Marlene says, I really wish you didn't have to go, and Jim's like, well, I have to spend tonight at the ranch. It's all, formality, but maybe I can persuade Claude let me stay to stay the night here tomorrow night. Okay. Jim Hendrick, what can I say? One thing I failed to mention in this episode is Amy Kathleen did try to talk to Christine twice. Christine turned it down. And Amy Kathleen's kind of like, ugh. She's hanging out more with Elizabeth Marie and Frank because they're more mature, healthy, adjusted people. And I hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Night. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the adventure. This is Jilted King Part 1. I failed to mention. It's J.R. Hendrick saying until next time, don't forget the rest of the story. It's going to get a lot bumpier from here.